I don't intend to disappoint you. I have. And as I say, it is simply not true when they say Bercow's the shortest man ever to be Speaker. Sir John Bussey, Speaker of the House of Commons, from 1394 to 1398, Sir John Wenlock, Speaker of the Commons, from 1455 to 1456, and Sir Thomas Tresham, Speaker of the House in 1459, are all believed to have been shorter than I. Although I do have to admit that this was true only after all three of them had been beheaded. Indeed, no fewer than 7 of my predecessors met their end on the executioner's table. One was killed in battle, and a further poor unfortunate soul was brutally murdered. So you will understand that this does enable me to view the present woes and challenges which afflict and confront the House of Commons with an appropriate sense of historical proportion. Whatever else happens, I'm not likely to have my head chopped off, although there may be a fair number of people who would desire such a fate for me. I just want to make 2 last points. First, although I didn't, fun enough, participate in inter-varsity debating competitions myself, I did get involved in debating at my own university, the University of Essex, nearly 30 years ago, and I richly enjoyed the experience, and I think it is fabulous to observe the growth and success of debating competitions in our country and more widely. And I think it's a huge credit to the sponsors, to the organisers, to the judges and to the participants in this tournament that it has become such a recognised centre of excellence and a key fixture in the debating calendar. What better opportunity to hone your skills, to demonstrate your dexterity, to show how versatile you can be, to exploit the age-old requirement of the lawyer at short notice on any matter, to be able to speak either for or against, depending upon who asks you to do so. All of these gifts and skills are worth developing, and you will show, I'm sure today, just how successfully you have done so. But the second feature of this, if I may say so from my point of view as Speaker, is that I want to underline and celebrate the fact that, amongst other things, you will doubtless be devoting some considerable time to debating political, social, cultural topics possibly that might involve international relations. But inevitably some of them will be political, either in the narrow or in the broad sense. And I think that is a great thing, because I am very committed as Speaker to trying to further the cause of political debate, political interest, political understanding, and above all, colleagues, political engagement. I do spend a lot of time as Speaker, when not in the chair, in the chamber, going around visiting schools, colleges, universities, further and higher education institutions, public bodies, charitable organisations, faith groups, not least to talk about what Parliament does, why politics matters, how we're changing, and to underline the ways in which you can get involved. And Speakers of the Commons didn't really used to do this on any scale, but my feeling is very strongly that I ought to get out and hear what you've got to say. And you may be interested, as your partisans of debate, to know that in a couple of weeks' time, the UK Youth Parliament, which I think is a hugely welcome development in Britain over the last decade or so, is coming for the 3rd year in succession to debate topics which it has chosen to debate on the floor of the House of Commons. That's an all-day event on Friday, November the 4th, which I shall chair. And just to give you an indication, and perhaps to give an indication to people from outside the United Kingdom how attitudes are changing, for years the British Parliament resisted having an annual debate for the UK Youth Parliament. And then, in my view, very wisely and in enlightened mode, we voted to allow the UK Youth Parliament to come to us. And we voted that way in March 2009. I was elected Speaker in June 2009, and I discovered that the Deputy Speaker was due to chair the UK Youth Parliament debate, and I said to Sir Alan Hazelhurst, my deputy, no, Alan, you can have the day off and go to your constituency. I want to chair the debates. And the reason I wanted to chair the debates, colleagues, was that I felt and I feel that if we in Parliament, as public figures, practising politicians, want to be respected by young people, we have to show some respect for young people. It's really quite a simple equation. And when I became Speaker, one of the MPs who's since retired, who was massively against the Youth Parliament coming, said to me, Mr. Speaker, I understand you are to chair the debates of the UK Youth Parliament. I said, yes, that's absolutely right. Let me tell you, he said, it will be a complete and unmitigated disaster. And I said to him, well, I'm sorry to hear you say that. I don't agree with that view at all. What makes you think? I know what I'm talking about. I've been here 40 years, I remind you, he said. And I said, no, I know exactly how long you've been here. I know when you were elected and the by-election and all the rest of it in September 1971. But my point is, what's your argument? And I know what I'm talking about. There was quite a lot of sort of pompostication. And finally, I managed to get him to tell me what his argument was. And he said, at the very least, Mr. Speaker, at the very least, chewing gum will be left all over the chamber. And at the worst, penknives will be used and damage will be inflicted upon these benches which I love. And I said to him, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry to hear you say what you said, because it's completely wrong and a grotesque caricature of and a huge insult to our young people who will come, who will be proud and privileged and pleased to come, who will speak well. And I make to you one other prediction. And he said, what's that? And I said, I predict to you that they will behave in our chamber a damn sight better than most of us do every day. And I know it's never popular, colleagues, when people say this, but I was right. And I'm sure today you will debate well and show respect for each other. I hope to be here for a little while. I do have various other commitments later in the day, but I celebrate your prowess. I wish you every possible success. Thank you. Good luck. Break a leg.